Welcome back, Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classic Non-Classics. This is episode 1240 and Doubleshot number 1134. Two Batman trades, both of whom stuff came out, well, mostly in the 80s. Yes, first up it is the controversial and one of the most critically acclaimed Batman stories of all time, Batman, A Death in the Family. This collects issues 426 to 429 in the main series of Batman. Now, this storyline was skipped over in the Batman Cape Crusader trade. For a good reason, because DC figured, though, people already have this storyline in the trade. Skip it. And you can get no problem. This is actually an older copy of this particular storyline that I got recently for about $12 from a local comic shop. Yes. Now, this storyline was basically loosely adapted a couple times over the years. First adapted for the beginning of Under the Red Hood, the other course being the Death Family movie itself. Now, this storyline here is the end of Jason Todd. Now, the reason for that and why the death that happens here is because Jason Todd, post-crisis, was mostly negatively received. Though you can't blame Jim Starlin for that. Yes, he is not responsible for making Jason Todd the way he is. He would just pick up slack from a different writer. The writer who did this to him was criminal novelist Max Allan Collins. He's the one who did this to him. I will be discussing that particular trade in the near future. Yes, this particular storyline has Jason Todd trying to figure out who his mother is. Yes. He does find his mother. And she is working with the Joker. Yep, she's working with the Joker. By the way, this storyline is actually revisited in the reason for Red Hood and the Outlaws, where Red Hood goes back to this very country. Oh yeah, I'm not going to show the infamous scene where you see the Joker, where he has tried to punish Robin for his sins against him. So he takes a crowbar and proceeds to whack him multiple times with a crowbar. Does this kill him? Nope. He gets killed by a bomb. Yes, a freaking bomb kills Jason Todd, the second Robin. Now, I saw a documentary that discussed this particular thing. People assumed they killed off Robin in the story. I think, oh crap, did Dick Grayson die? No. Believe it or not, he had not been Robin since 1983. Actually, since 1984, he gave up the title of Robin, become Nightwing. This storyline was released in, I think it was like, let's see if we can look up here. I think it was like 1989, I think it was, or at least 88. It was 88. Yeah, this particular story is as old as me. Yep, and death happens actually in the third part, mind you. The last part is something that people don't talk about. It's a very underrated issue of the storyline. It's the epilogue of this storyline. Yeah, Jason Todd dies in issue 428, but 29, oh boy. Apparently the Joker is contacted by the Iranian government for some reason, and they make him their ambassador. So, despite the fact that Batman knows that Joker should be in Arkham Asylum, probably should also be tried for his various crimes, including the death of Jason Todd, he can't legally touch him. But he does basically have a brief conversation with the Joker. Doesn't touch him. He does interact with him in this scene. Because the thing is, he is basically now here's the thing. How does Batman find out that Joker has been named the Iranian ambassador? Superman! Yes, Superman pops up here in the only time I can think of that Jim Starlin's ever written Superman. I don't think he's ever written the main Superman. Not I can think of, no. Oh yeah, he did for he drew it, but he never wrote it. No, he never did. Let's see. I don't think enough he has never done Superman. No, he's never done Superman. I mean, aside from this, I mean, he did do one Superman annual. I mean, his time with DC is very limited, to the very least. Yeah, mostly. If you look at his, I'm looking at stuff online for his work for DC. A lot of his work was done for Batman of all things. I think he did a little bit for Superman, but he's not a prolific Superman writer. A lot of times people think of Jim Starlin, people think of him as cosmic stuff with Thanos, Gamora, Nebula, those characters, or at least KG Beast. But this, people do know about the storyline. But here's the thing: Jim Starlin wrote the storyline. Jim Harrow does the artwork. Yes, the late great Jim Harrow. Never met the guy, but I did talk about this guy with the awesome Chuck Dixon. He loved working with the guy. He thought he was an awesome guy to work with, one of the best artists he's worked with, aside from Graham Nolan, mind you. And yeah, also what was Joker's plan? Gas DUI assembly. Yep, gas DUI assembly. Oh yeah, and also because of the fact he does this, he gives up his role as the Iranian ambassador. So yeah, Batman can actually touch him. So he proceeds to fight him, and of course they get outside. He falls off the helicopter, and well, that's it for the storyline. It's kind of the storyline ends sort of anticlimactically because a lot of people mistakenly assume the storyline ends after 3 issues. Like they probably think that the death happens in 429. Nope, that happens in 428. Kind of basically how a pop culture how they treat this storyline, where they think Jason Todd died in the final issue. Nope, he died in the second to last issue of the storyline. Because of how critically how much important this storyline is, and how well written it is, I'm giving this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's a really good storyline, and with that, I reviewed most of Jim Starlin's run. There's about a few issues that I haven't reviewed yet. Also, with reviewing this trade, I have now officially reviewed for Batman for the 400s from issue 417 to 443. Alright, moving on to more Joker stuff. Surprisingly, issues from this storyline did not make this trade because this thing stops at 1980. We have the greatest Joker stories ever told. Yep, that's the name of this trade. And this is basically a lot of Joker stories, mind you. Yes. Now, with the way he's drawn here, is that, oh, do they take anything from Dark Knight Returns or anything after that? Nope. These are the following stories they take from. Batman number 1, which debut of the Joker makes perfect sense. Batman number 4. These titles are so strange. One of whom you may be like, wait, did they also take this story and adapt it for an episode of Batman in series? Yeah, they did. The first story, Batman vs. the Joker, Batman number 1. Then it's Case of the Joker's Crime Circus, Batman number 4. Joker and the Sparrows from newspaper strip. The Man Behind the Red Hood from Batman 160. This is actually the first appearance of Red Hood when Joker was Red Hood at one point. The Joker Crime Costumes from Batman 63. Joker's Utility Belt from Batman 73. The Crimes of Batman from World's Finest Comics 61. The Crazy Crime Clown, Batman 74. Superman Powell's Greatest Phones. An excellent story where you have Joker team with Lex Luthor for the first time. The Crime of the Month Club from Batman 110. The Great Clayface Joker Feud. A one-shot issue from Batman 159. Yeah, it's where Joker interacts with Matt Hagen. Though this is actually, I think it's before they start collecting the main Batman stuff. I think so. And it's The Joker's Story from Batman 163. Then you have from the Kellogg special, Joker's Happy Victims. Then you have Batman 251, The Joker's 5-Way Revenge, which is actually Joker's first Bronze Age appearance, written by Denny O'Neil, artwork by Neil Adams. Death Has His Last Laugh from Batman 111. The Last Ha Ha from Joker number 3, where Joker takes on the Creeper of all people. Now, this one was the inspiration for a Batman animated series episode, The Laughing Fish, from Detective Comics 475. Though this particular story takes place during the Strange Apparition story, and it's done by Steve Englehart. Sign of the Joker from Batman 476, the very next issue. Interesting, they throw 2 issues in a row. The Dreadful Birthday, Dear Joker from Batman 321. And that's where it ends. Basically, stories ranging from 1940 to about 1980. I'm like, really? That's what they throw in here? Okay. Yeah. I believe there's actually another one of these, but this is the first one they released. When I saw this, I'm like, really? That's as far as they go? Batman 321? Okay. Fine, I've read the issue. It's kind of interesting to say the least. And it's an issue featuring Luke Fox, and it's basically early 80s stuff just prior to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, my only criticism for this particular trade is the timing of its release, where they released it prior to more awesome Joker stories that came after this. I believe there is a follow-up to this, believe it or not, yes. And to throw these in as the greatest Joker stories ever told, at this point, yeah, it's perfectly fine. But I'm not going to discuss the stories individually. It's just that, well, they're just really good classic stories. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Purely because it's a pure classic type of stories when it comes to Joker. If you're curious still, why did I give Death and Family 10 out of 10? This I think it's also a Joker-related story. Because they came out in the 80s, and mainly the reason why, because people do know about this story, and it is well known in pop culture about this particular story. And this particular storyline was actually referenced in an episode of Batman Brave with the Bullet, believe it or not, by Batmite, by showing a statue of this particular moment. Which, by the way, I do criticize the trade for spoiling this. If you never read this storyline, this particular picture here should not be here at all. Like, you can throw in any picture. Oh, yes. Now, I should discuss something related to this trade. What they actually is in here. Look at this. They threw in the old telephone number to contact DC Comics. Dial this one number for Jason to live. Dial this other number for Jason to die. And there's also a very infamous story involving this particular dial in to basically confirm if Jason was going to live or die. Here's the thing. Somebody sent an auto redial for Jason Todd to die. I don't know who it is, but yes. So the reason why Jason Todd died was basically due to a fan vote. And they actually did produce a alternate story, like an alternate whole issue where Jason Todd actually lived. And fun fact, they actually printed this story in the 25th annual release in 2007. Yes, almost 19 years after Jason Todd's death. Yeah, that's the interesting thing when it comes to Jason Todd. He was dead for a pretty good period, almost 20 years. Which kudos on the fact that DC Comics can get dead that long. Now, I have heard there was inspiration for this storyline, believe it or not. What was the inspiration? Dark Knight Returns, of course, because they mentioned that very storyline Jason Todd himself died. So, that's the reason why this storyline existed in the first place. And for the most part, this story is still canon. One of a handful of Batman stories that is canon to this very day. Nothing about this story has been deemed non-canon. Well, probably the last issue, mind you. But most of the story is pretty much canon. It has never been retconned at all. I mean, why would you retcon a very important Batman story like this? Though they do an in-name tribute to this thing with the death of the family, which also features the Joker, like this one did, and that one, nobody actually really dies in that story. Well, people really supporting characters from Nightwing dies, but maybe Batman family, none of them die, and that involves more Batman family because this point is just Bruce and Dick and Alfred. By the time that storyline came out, there was a lot more bigger Batman family, like slightly bigger. Not as big as it is nowadays, where it's like a lot bigger family. But yeah, not much to say with these two trades. Like, Death and Family is really good. And Drinking Joker Stories, just pure classic Joker stuff. Oh yeah, and also they throw in some stuff with Silver King Cloud. That was not included in the adaptation. It was mostly put just Joker trying to make a patent on a special fish he made. Yeah. But even though, and it's weird, like I said. Like, the first 3 issues of this very storyline are well talked about when it comes to pop culture. But this issue right here, so on the back cover for this. This issue, the one where the Joker comes the Iranian bastard, this is barely talked about at all. Yeah. No, they did. No, when they adapted this to the movie, they changed it what the vehicle Batman was driving, because in the comic book, he was driving a Humvee. In the movie, he was driving the Bat-Cycle. Why the heck they changed it for? They also changed where that happened. And here, it happened in the desert. In the movie, it happened in... This is adapted for Under the Hood, mind you. They changed to where it happened in the middle of a snowstorm. Yeah. But I'm very happy I got a chance to do this particular storyline. And, well, that's another storyline basically done for Batman. One of the most important Batman stories of all time. And basically, 32 years later, still canon. Yep, still canon, believe it or not. Yeah, it's quite interesting though. DC has never retconned the story. Though they did change exactly how Jason got back to life. They did change that, mind you. They went with the end of a Hood story of how Jason got back to life because, well, they thought Joe Wick's story was silly anyways. But yeah, this story, super serious, but really good. It's interesting though, Jim Starlin left after the very next issue, after the storyline wrapped up. Yeah, he left with 430, which that was his last issue he ever did for Batman. It's strange though that Jim Starlin didn't have a very long run for the book. He only did the book for 17 issues and then he left. Yep. Okay, if you ever hand over to Jim Owsley, you're thinking, who the heck is Jim Owsley? Christopher Priest. Hand over to him for a few issues for Marv Wolfman to go with the book for a certain period of time. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it for particular view. And that's going to be it for videos today because I have no more videos to do. So to you, so tomorrow for probably like one comic corner. You know, is going to be another Monster Go Doctor episode tomorrow? No. No, there isn't. Mainly because I haven't read the book yet, so I will in fact review that probably at some point in the future. Probably not tomorrow. I can't exactly finish 3 books in one day, so probably this weekend or probably next weekend. I'll probably get a chance to. Okay, choose the video. Bye.